Well, new figures reveal that Aussie farmers have lost more than $39 million in crops because there's no workers to harvest them. Can you believe it? Closed borders have forced out international farm workers, plus JobKeeper is deterring domestic workers, and that's devastated the industry. As if our farmers don't have it tough enough already. For more, I'm joined by Horticultural CEO at National Farmers Federation, Tyson Cattle. Tyson, welcome to the show. I understand you're actually in quarantine at the moment. Is that correct?
I am actually, Cory. Yes, I got caught up in, came back to WA from Melbourne to visit some family and some friends, and got caught up in the backdated quarantine arrangements with WA.
So you're a real-world victim of a political grandstanding that's impacting so many Australians at the moment. It makes almost everything unpredictable, and I think it's quite disgraceful, frankly. But I tell you what else is disgraceful, Tyson, and that is the fact that our Aussie farmers are having to ditch tens of millions of dollars worth of fruit and veggies and because they can't get people to harvest them. How bad is this going to get for us?
Yeah, look, you're right, Cory. I think the recent figures that have been released earlier today were $38 million so far of crops lost. We only launched this study in the middle of December, so we're expecting that figure to rise to who knows where, essentially. But yeah, it's going to rise a fair bit yet as we come into Victoria and Tasmania into their harvest periods.
Well, more than half of these losses have been in the berry industry, I understand, and about 35 or so percent in the vegetable industry. But we're now coming into the vintage for a lot of our very important wine industry. And are there any other particular harvests that are going to be under threat in the next couple of months unless we change this?
Yeah, look, I think there's a range of different commodities at risk at the moment. I think definitely our table grape season coming in through Sunraysia is going to be an interesting one. They'll start to kick off sort of mid to late January. Even our apple season through the Goulburn Valley will really start to come off in early February. The disappointing thing is that we've been talking about this issue now since the end of February or early March, since the pandemic began, and we really haven't been able to see any real strong change to finding a solution to this issue. We've raised a number of opportunities, I guess, with state and federal government, and largely being targeted towards our Pacific Island neighbours to bring in a range of workers that we need. You know, David Littlecrowd has said repeatedly that there's 22,000 pre-vetted workers over on the Pacific Islands right now. We're expecting a shortage based on our EY report, as well as ABARES backed up those figures, that we're expecting around 22 to 26,000 shortage by the end of March. So we really need something drastic to help our growers.
Well, Tyson, I think I speak for a number of Australians who are watching tonight that say, okay, it's all good and well, we've got 22,000 workers offshore that are prepared to come to Australia and do this heavy-duty work. But what about the tens of thousands of Australians who are getting paid by the government on JobKeeper or JobSeeker that are refusing to go out and do this honest day's work for an honest day's pay? I mean, shouldn't we be applying more pressure to get our own workers into the field?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think, credit where credit's due. I think the government's relocation assistance package of $6,000 is well beyond what we ever expected. You know, industry originally was calling for $2,000 to help domestic workers go out and do it. I think the incentive is there. It is absolutely, as you say, frustrating that that growers out there are struggling to find harvest workers, yet we've still got unemployment at around 6.8 to 7%. Certainly, growers would love to employ Australians first, and they've always said that they would absolutely love that. But, this isn't the first package that we've tried. Yes, it's different with the pandemic, but it's not the first package or trial or anything like that we've tried to engage with the domestic workforce, and it hasn't worked. Certainly, I know, given it's a Western culture thing, US brings in workers from Mexico, the UK brings in workers from Eastern Europe. New Zealand brings in workers for them from the Pacific Islands as well. It's not a unique case to Western society, but certainly, you know, at a time of desperate need when growers are crying out for workers, we would have hoped that we'd see a greater take-up, but we haven't.
Yeah, Tyson, look, I really appreciate you breaking your quarantine, if I can put it like that, and inviting us into your lockup. Desperately sorry, mate. I hear you're 9 days in, so only a few to go, but safe travels, and I hope your family's well and you get home safe and sound. Thanks for joining me tonight.
Thanks, Cory. Appreciate it.